Greetings, Fire Chargers, Darkblade here, and let me tell you something. Today, God did a lot for me. He showed me that there was this very important task. This really illustrated the importance of it after giving me a couple of various wake-up calls over this month and the previous. And the best part is with his assistance, I was able to take major steps towards the timely accomplishment of this task. Of course, I still have several steps left, but I have already made significant progress in this past day. Earlier, I had no idea what to do whatsoever. Well, I knew what to do, I just had no idea how to do it, and now I have already done a significant part of it. So, all of that credit goes to God, a lot directly and a lot indirectly through various circumstances that have been set up. So, I will now read Exodus chapter 22. If a man steals an ox or a sheep, by the way, I'm filming this with the Samsung Galaxy tablet, which I'm holding up in my hands, and my Bible is on my bed, so I will try to keep this as stable as possible, but just know that complete stability might not be possible at all times. Oh, there's a footnote. Chapter 27 in Hebrew. If a man steals an ox or a sheep and kills it or sells it, he shall repay 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. Now in the Hebrew, this is where the new chapter begins. If a thief is found breaking in and is struck so that he dies, there shall be no blood guilt for him. But if the sun has risen on him, there shall be blood guilt for him. That is, what does the footnote say? That is the thief. Thief shall surely pay. If he has nothing, then he shall not be sold. Then he shall be sold for his theft. I'm very heavily confused on what this means. How to read this. If the stolen beast is found alive and in his possession, whether it is an ox or a donkey or a sheep, he shall pay double. So it looks like they've jumped back to this topic of stealing animals, and when they're done with burglars and went back to stealing animals. If a man causes a field or vineyard to be grazed over, or lets his beast loose and it feeds in another man's field, he shall make restitution from the best in his own field and in his own vineyard. If a fire breaks out and catches in thorns, so that the stacked grain or standing grain or the field is consumed, he who started the fire should make full restitution. I wonder if fire happens naturally, like if a lightning strikes your hay bales or something. If a man gives his neighbor money or goods to keep safe and it is stolen from the man's house, then if the thief is found, he shall pay double. If the thief is not found, the owner of the house shall come near to God to show whether or not he has put his hand to his neighbor's property. For every breach of trust, whether it is an ox, for a donkey, for a sheep, or for any kind of lost thing which one says, "This is it," the case of which of both parties shall come for God. The one whom God condemns shall pay double to his neighbor. If a man gives his neighbor a donkey or an ox or a sheep or any beast to keep safe, and it dies or is injured or is driven away without anyone seeing it, an oath by the Lord shall be between them both to see whether or not he has put his hand to his neighbor's property. The owner shall accept the oath, and he shall not make restitution. But if it is stolen from him, he shall make restitution to its owner. If it is torn by beast, let him bring it as evidence. He shall not make restitution for what has been torn. If a man borrows anything of his neighbor, and it is injured or dies, as the owner not being with it, he shall make restitution. If the owner was with it, he shall not make restitution. If it was hired, it came for his hiring fee, or as reckoned he becomes into its hiring. This one is laws about social justice. If a man seduces a virgin who is not betrothed and lies with her, he shall give the bride price for and make her his wife. If his father utterly refuses to give her to him, he shall pay money equal to the bride price for virgins. So even if the dad says no, you still lose your money. You shall not permit a sorceress to live. Whoever lies with an animal shall surely be put to death. Whoever sacrifices to any god other than the Lord alone shall be devoted to destruction. You shall not wrong a sojourner or oppress him, for you were sojourners in the land of Egypt. So basically, don't mistreat non-native. So basically, don't mistreat immigrants or migrant workers or other non-natives because you used to be one of them. You shall not mistreat a widow or fatherless child. If you do mistreat them, and they cry out to me, I will surely hear their cry, and my wrath will burn, and I will kill you with the sword, and your wife shall become widows, and your children fatherless. So, pretty extremely intense manner of getting this point across. Don't abuse widows and orphans. Don't exploit them. If you lend money to any of my people with you who is poor, and you shall not be like a money lender to him, and you shall not exact interest from him. So basically, don't exploit poor people through via predatory money lending. If you ever take your neighbor's cloak in pledge, you shall return it to him before the sun goes down. For that is his only offering, covering, and in his cloak, and it is his cloak for his body. And what else shall he sleep? And if he cries to me, I will hear, for I am compassionate. You shall not revile God, nor curse a ruler of your people. With all of these shalls and more turns of phrase that aren't all that familiar to us, this looks like somewhere halfway between the KJV era English and modern and contemporary English. You shall not delay to offer from the fullness of your harvest and from the outflow of your presses. The firstborn of your sons you shall give to me. This obviously is not talking about child sacrifice. You shall do the same with your oxen and with your sheep. 7 days it shall be with its mother, and on the 8th day you shall give it to me. You shall be consecrated to me. Therefore you shall not eat any flesh that is torn by beasts in the field. You shall throw it to the dogs. You shall not spread a false report. You shall not join hands with a wicked man to be a malicious witness. You shall not fall in with the many to do evil, nor shall you bear witness in a lawsuit, siding with the many as to pervert justice, nor shall you be partial to a poor man in his lawsuit. So basically, don't be influenced by the powerful and don't be overly sympathetic to the weak in court cases. How long is this? If you meet your enemy's ox or his donkey going astray, you shall bring it back to him. If you see the donkey of one who hates you lying under its burden, you shall refrain from leaving him with it. You shall rescue it with him. You shall not pervert justice due to your poor in his lawsuit. Keep far from a false charge, and do not kill the innocent and righteous, for I will not acquit the wicked. And you shall take no bribe, for a bribe blinds the clear-sighted and subverts the cause of those who are in the right. You shall not oppress a sojourner. You know the heart of a sojourner, for you were sojourners in the land of Egypt. For 6 years you shall sow your land and gather its fields, but the 7th year you shall let it rest and lie fallow, that the poor of your people may eat it, and what they leave the beasts of the field may eat. You shall do likewise with your vineyard and with your olive orchard. 6 days you shall do your work, but on the 7th day you shall rest, that your ox and your donkey have rest, and the son of your servant woman and the alien may be refreshed. Pay attention to all that I have said to you, and make no mention of the names of other gods. Let it be heard on your lips. 3 times a year you shall keep a feast to me. You shall keep the feast of unleavened bread. As I commanded you, you shall eat unleavened bread for 7 days from the appointed time of the month of Abib, for in it you came out of Egypt. None shall appear before me empty-handed. You shall keep the feast of harvest of the first fruits of your labor. You shall sow of what you sow in the field. You shall keep the feast of ungathering at the end of the year, when you gather from the field the fruit of your labor. 3 times in the year shall all your males appear before the Lord your God. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with anything leavened, or let the fat of my feast remain until morning. The best of the first fruits of your ground you shall bring to the house of the Lord your God. You shall not boil a young goat in its mother's milk. Behold, I send an angel before you to guard on the way and bring you to the place that I have prepared. Pay careful attention against him and obey his voice. Do not rebel against him, for he will not pardon you or your transgression, for my name is in him. Be careful but if you carefully obey his voice and do not say that, then I will be an enemy to your enemies and an adversary to your adversaries. When my angel goes before you and brings you to the Amorites and to the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, and I blot them out, you shall not bow down to them or serve them, to their gods, or serve them, nor do as they do. You shall utterly overthrow them and break their pillars in pieces. You shall serve the Lord your God, and he will bless your bread and your water, and I will take sickness away from among you. None shall miscarry or be barren in your lands. I will fulfill the number of your days. I will send my terror before you and will throw confusion into confusion all the people against whom you shall come, and I will make all your enemies turn their backs to you, and I will send hornets, which are basically really aggressive bugs that are similar to bees. They're some way similar to bees before you, which shall drive out the Hivites, the Canaanites, and the Hittites from before you. I will not drive them out before you in 1 year. lest the land become desolate and the wild beasts multiply against you. I'm a bit confused as to what duration or quickness has to do with this. Little by little I will drive them out from before you until you have increased and possessed the land. And I will set your border from the Red Sea to the Sea of the Philistines, and from the wilderness of the Euphrates, that is 3 Hebrew, the river. For I will give the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you shall drive them out before you. You shall make no covenant with them and their gods. They shall not dwell in your land, lest they make you a sin against me. For if you serve their gods, it will surely be a snare to you.